Hello, everyone. It's October, the spooky month. So I decided to force myself to sit down and make another monster video. But thank you all for the encouragement, for liking, subscribing, all that. It warms my little heart. So today we are going to get wormy. I'm going to draw a worm monster. I'll be honest, I'm not too familiar with a bunch of worm creatures. I kind of just know about them in other movies, but I just haven't seen a lot of movies with worm monsters, so forgive me. However, there is one movie that I've definitely seen with a worm creature in it, and it is actually my all-time favorite movie. Period. Horror, comedy, drama, doesn't matter. It's my favorite movie. It's actually Tremors. That's right. Burt Ward, Kevin Bacon. That is my favorite movie. I watched this movie as a kid with my grandparents, and it was just very quotable. We love the characters, we love the creatures. Bravo! It's just such a fun movie, and it's just done so well, especially the first one. The chemistry between the characters, I think, is what really makes it. There's just so many good things about it, and it reminds me of my childhood. And everyone in my family knows it and quotes it. It's a part of my life, you know? So one thing I figured for my videos from now on is I will try to name the creatures and give them a bit of backstory as well. I feel like that's a missed opportunity on the other videos, which I'm already thinking about remaking the old ones anyway. So we'll just keep it going. So I'm kind of using all kinds of references for this one, and I even thought of like sea cucumbers and stuff like that. Just anything I can to kind of come up with a unique worm creature. And ultimately, I don't think he's going to be like crazy unique, but you know, he'll be fun nonetheless. So for this big worm, I'll think of a name for it eventually. I like the picture that, of course, it burrows in the ground. It's a big old worm. So very likely that they would do that. So this one burrows in the ground. Maybe it uses like a big sharp tongue to kind of help dig the dirt out, and it uses like a mucus from its body to like eat and digest, kind of soak the dirt around it, and then that's how it creates its tunnels. But also this mucus kind of stays in the ground a little bit, and so anyone who enters the earth, enters their tunnels, the dirt, the soil, everything is coated in this mucus, and it slows you down. It makes it harder to get away from these things. That's how it traps. That's how it eats. It's pretty tricky coming up with a unique design for this guy, and even after studying some Pokemon references, I noticed Pokemon's getting pretty wormy these days, and they're not ashamed at all. They're embracing this. I think the most iconic worm creature out there, I'd probably have to give it to the worms from Dune. From what I understand, these things are called the Shai-Hulud. I'm sorry if I'm getting in this wrong. I have not seen any Dune movie. Sorry, I just hadn't got to it. But from what I learned, they're actually really cool, and they're more integral to the story than I thought. So the Shai-Hulud are from the planet Arrakis, and they produce the melange spice in the sand to make spaceflight possible, and it's very valuable. And that's what the race to get this control of this spice is. And well, you could actually train yourself you can actually tame these things, and you can ride the worm, and they're quite the spectacle. I guess I could say that this worm here spits acid like the Mongolian death worm, but I don't know. I think I just wanted to make a big worm. So I guess he could actually. He could spit like a big loogie at his prey, and then it slows him down. Then he can chomp down on him or something. But the Mongolian death worm is they do have a movie for that too. But it was actually originally a cryptid. And I remember being a kid, seeing things about it and thinking it was actually real. Which who knows, maybe it is. Turns out it was popularized in a book by a guy named Roy Chapman. It's a book called On the Trail of Ancient Man, which sounds like a very cool book, actually. So Roy was leading an expedition in Asia, studying like the people and studying the history and the archaeology, and he ended up writing this book about his personal experience. And while he was there, he heard tale of this Mongolian deathworm creature that would spit acid and stuff like that, and you would die immediately after touching it. Of course, he's very skeptical of it, and nothing's ever really been found of it. So anyway, if I ever wanted to go cartoony with the worm here, I can always copy off of Beetlejuice, actually. Sandworms. You hate them, right? I love that they're coming out with a lot more Halloween merch now based off of the sandworm from Beetlejuice. That's pretty fun. All right, but one movie that weirded me out as a kid, and I only ever saw it like clips of it, and I didn't understand how I was supposed to process it, was Dreamcatcher. Right, Stephen King. So they have a wormy creature in there called a Byram, and it's a parasitic creature, lives inside a host, and then eventually it bursts out, and it's got these razor sharp teeth, and it's crazy. But me watching it as a kid, I'm like, wait, why is there a worm coming out of this guy in the bathroom? Like, I don't know what's going on here. Oh, okay, now there's a big alien known as a virus, and it's that worm is like his pet or something. What's going on? I don't know. Why is that guy talking to himself? Why they have powers? It was so confusing. But anyway, that's one of the most vicious creatures that I've seen is the Byram. Very effective. Like, it doesn't seem like there's really much you can do against it other than get a shotgun. I guess I'll go ahead and mention the worms from Slither as well. It's a very, very gruesome, very grody movie. I would have liked it if there was just like a giant worm, like the size of a car, and end up like rushing through town. I think that would have been kind of cool. Something I would have done. Put me as the director. The worms from Slither, they got kind of like a hive mind control kind of thing going on, which, maybe my worm guy could kind of, I think that'd be cool if he had abilities like that. Like maybe he can control their mind and like, I don't know, create some followers, maybe like a cult to like feed him victims or something. That'd be cool. Okay. Yeah, we're coming up with something. I actually do have some honorable mentions here. We have the Hammerpede from Prometheus, a little snaky alien life form that was corrupted by the goo and is very deadly, but also adorable in a weird way. Also, we have the purple worm from Dungeons and Dragons. That's a creature I have yet to face against or pit against my players, so that'd be interesting to work into a story. So I might just have to do that for the next campaign. Maybe give them some mind control abilities as well. Also, big shout out to Zol and the other worm gods from the Destiny franchise. There used to be a mission where you can go in and kill this ancient powerful being in like 5 minutes. It was a lot of fun. Also, heads up, there's a Thai film called Omukade that's coming out soon, and it's based off of a centipede demon of the same name, and it looks pretty creepy. And honestly, centipedes are like the one thing in real life that actually kind of creeps me out a little bit. So, this is going to be an interesting watch. There's plenty of worms out there to be inspired by, I suppose. But for this guy, I think I'll just call him the Mucolith. The Mucolith. Because of the mucus part. I don't know. If you guys come up with a better name for him, then put it down in the comments and we'll decide from there, okay? Thank you again so much for stopping by. Have a great October and don't get any worm parasites. Bye.
Oh, a worm Very good, lad.